So good afternoon, dear partners. My name is Rimvidas. I'm Cloud Business Line Manager. And today with me, I have Giedrius Kakanauskas, as usual, our Senior Cloud Service Specialist. And as well, today we have the third speaker, Algirdas Ivanavičius, who is our platform developer. So today is our monthly 1ClickFactory self-provisioning for NAV Business Central webinar. It's been a few months that we have been broadcasting this webinar. So we made the webinar break during a couple of summer months, and now we're resuming as usual in every month. So today is the webinar for our news for our September release, and then the next webinar will be as usual on the second Wednesday of each month. So the next webinar would be on October 14th. So please, after today's webinar, please don't forget to register for the next month's webinar. As usual, we want to make this webinar as interactive as possible. So while we will be presenting the features and the news during this webinar, feel free to drop the question into this chat box that is shown on the screen. We'll take the answers probably after our presentation has ended, but you can pop the question anytime there. So we'll pick up the question and we'll answer later on. So whenever you have a thought, just drop it there. So what's in today's agenda? Well, pretty much as usual, we will present some new exciting features that we have developed during the summer months. And those features have been requested by quite a few of you partners, so that's been very much prioritized by our development team and been implemented in the last portal release. We'll also present what is in the lab, so what are the important features and interesting stuff that we are now developing and would be released in short time frame. I'm pretty sure when you will hear what Giedrius will say about the new features to be released, you will be excited too. As usual, at the end, we will take the look into our frequently asked questions. We'll answer your questions, of course, that you have asked us during the webinar. And last but not least, as in every quarter, we have a platform maintenance, an infrastructure maintenance to be performed. So Giedrius will remind on the maintenance schedule for the upcoming maintenance window. So let's get started. So there are quite a few news this month. The first news is not exactly related with our self-provisioning portal, but this is more about 1ClickFactory as a company. So we are glad to announce that we have been provided with a CSP license distribution contract by Microsoft. We're focusing for Central Eastern Europe region with a CSP license distribution. So folks joining from Western Europe, US, that's probably not too much relevant to you. But for folks joining from the CE region, keep tuned. There's information already on our website inviting to the virtual launch event on October 1st. So feel free to check the website, read the information, and join the activities that we have planned ahead. While this is, again, this is not exactly the self-provisioning business line in 1ClickFactory, but still it is related to our cloud business. And with this, we are planning to serve you partners even better than we're now, providing the full stack, even the Microsoft licenses distribution. So that's about the company news. Now about self-provisioning news, we have a small adjustment into our price list. We have added a couple of new dedicated server types in case you need more memory in the machines, right? So we have sometimes received a request that the CPU performance is okay, but I just need more memory in our dedicated server environment. So while usually we are upgrading servers both in memory-wise and CPU-wise, but now we have a couple of options in case you really need more memory. So those server types are called, well, pretty basic, which is special type 1 and special type 2. And later on, Giedrius will show where you can find that in our portal. So in case you need more memory, you can select those server types. So you can find it both on the self-provisioning portal while provisioning new dedicated server, and as well, there's a new price list that has been released in the portal. So in the portal, you can also download the latest price list with these adjustments in it. As usual, in case you have any questions about the price list, about the server types, about resources, feel free to ask us and drop an email to our service team, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. So now I pass to Giedrius for the other news.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Rimvydas. Hello, everyone. So yeah, just getting back to the special server types, maybe I'll quickly show it on the portal. So when you are creating a new customer installation, and if you need a, let's say, a bigger server, a bigger dedicated server with more memory, but the same amount of CPU. So I'm choosing to create a new server here, and if I choose the server type dedicated, you can see the special type 1 and special type 2 in the list. So special type 1 is basically the same as Silver Plus, but it just has the double memory amount, and the same is with special type 2. It's the same as Gold Plus, only double amount of memory. As we know, NAV or Business Central is more hungry for the memory than the CPU, at least usually in the normal circumstances. So yeah, this has been pretty, these sizes were pretty often requested by our partners, and some of the partners had it in the background already. So yeah, now they are public and they can be used by all of the partners. Good. Getting back to the Ever news. So as always, during the summer, we were releasing all the latest NAV and Business Central CUs. The September batch, let's call it like that, is being tested by the team and should be available on the portal. I would say any minute now, right? Yeah, and then the latest. Let's see, the last thing that is really important, I believe, is the portal roles. And yeah, Algirdas will tell you a little bit more about them. Yeah, so Algirdas, floor is yours.
Thank you, Giedrius. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Just a second, we'll switch the screen.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, Giedrius, could you please switch me back to the presentation window? I forgot about that. Yeah. So this new feature that we have been working on for the past couple of months is portal roles. It was requested by many partners, and we decided to develop this feature and introduce it because it improves security and it provides the partner users with granular portal access control, meaning that different portal users can have different permissions and can perform different actions in our self-provisioning portal. So let me first briefly introduce the roles that we have at this moment. So there are 4 big roles controlled from the portal users page, and there are a couple of other roles controlled from the self-provisioning portal. And let's start with the admin role. So admin role is basically the same role that you had in the past and you have at this moment. This role can read and see all the data that is available in the self-provisioning portal, including customer installations, application servers, partner settings, and so on. This role also can perform all actions, so it can create new installations, provision new application servers, and so on. Next role is access admin, and it has basically the same read permissions as the admin role. So it can see all data and all information in the portal, but it has limited actions. So this role can only modify partner and customer user access. For example, it can enable and disable customer users or add new users to installations, and so on. And the third role is reader. So as you can probably guess from its description, this role can only see and read information in the self-provisioning portal. So it can see all installations, all application server details, and so on, but it has very limited actions. So this role basically can download documents or download backups, invoices, and so on. And the fourth big role, as I name it, is basic. So this role has very limited capabilities itself, but it can be combined with other roles to increase its permissions. So basic role, if you only have this role, you can only basically see the dashboard, and in that dashboard page, you will only see notifications and suggested features. Yeah, and these are the four big roles. The other two roles are customer manager and customer consultant. Those two roles are managed from the self-provisioning portal, and if some users have these roles assigned, they can also, for example, if a user has a basic role and on top you add a customer manager role, this user will be able to manage specific customer installation users, for example, add new users to this installation or see details about this information. And manager role is more capable than the consultant role, because consultant can only assign new users, enable users, disable users, remove users from installation, but it cannot change licenses, request backups for this specific installation, for this specific customer installation. So if you want to assign more capabilities to your customer consultant or managers, you should choose this role up respectively. So let me get to the demo part of this presentation. So I will share my screen with you. And now I will show how you can manage these roles in our portal. So let's start in our main portal at 1ClickFactory.com. Here you can see that I'm signed in as roles demo partner admin user, and if I click on the user icon in the top right corner, you can see that I see an option called users. So this option is only available to partner administrator users in the portal. So if I choose users, I can see the list of all portal users that can access my information for 1ClickFactory portal. The role that I want to adjust, and for example, the portal user that I want to change its permissions is called roles demo user. And if I click on this user, you will see what type of user groups or roles this user has. So in the right side, on the right side of this window of this page, you will see that there are 4 big self-provisioning roles available. Currently, this user has basic role assigned, but if I want to change it, for example, to admin user, I will remove the checkmark from the basic option and add it to the admin role. After I click save, I see that profile information has been updated. And if I refresh this page, I can see that this role is assigned to the roles demo user. Now, if I switch my window to the to another browser where I have signed in as the roles demo user that I have just changed the permissions to, you can see that since this user is not the partner administrator, it does not have the users option available. So that's why it is important that for you to know that these self-provisioning roles can only be managed by partner administrators. So yeah, and with this user, I will navigate to the self-provisioning portal. As you can see, I can see all information in the dashboard menu item. I can see all available customers to this specific user. I can see customer installations available, and so on. And if I want to, just give me a second. Yeah, and if I went to the customer users for this installation and I wanted to disable Michael Jr. user, I click on the enable button, I press confirm, and this user is now scheduled to be disabled. So you can see that with this role, I can perform all actions that are available in our portal, and I can see all information. Now, if I went back to the roles demo partner admin window, the user that manages portal user permissions, and I decided to change the role of this role demo user that I used in the self-provisioning portal, I will change his role to access admin. Access admin, as I have mentioned previously, can read all the data in the self-provisioning portal, but it has limited actions available because it can only this user can only manage customer and partner users permissions, for example, access to SQL servers, application servers, and installations. So I am in the window of roles demo user, and if I went back, for example, to application servers and decided to select restart for the virtual machine, and I press on restart, you can see in the bottom right corner that access denied, and that this user does not have the required permissions for this action. But if I wanted to adjust customer user access information, so I had Michael Jr. Disabled with my previous role. With this role, I can also change this user's the access permissions for customer users. So yeah, that's about it with access admin user. Now let me switch back to the portal user admin. Let's refresh this window. We can see that the demo user has access admin role assigned, but we want to change his role to reader. So reader can basically only read all information available in the self-provisioning portal. So I press on save, and I switch back to my user that I'm using for the demo in the self-provisioning portal. And if I went to dashboard, I can see all information there. I can go to customers, customer installations. But if I went to the installation users and I tried to disable Michael Jr. user and I press and confirm, you can see that his access was denied because this role does not allow enabling and disabling users. So that's about it with the reader role. And let me just show you the final big role, which is called basic. I change this user's role to basic. I refresh the window, and I go back to the self-provisioning portal with the demo user. So now if I try to go to customers window, menu item, or to database backups, you can see that I get this error that access has been denied because this role does not allow for the portal user to see information in the customers list or database backups and so on. And I can only see information in the dashboard that is related to notifications and feature requests. But this role can be modified if you, for example, you decide to add customer roles on top. So to do that, you have to select another user that has self-provisioning admin role assigned. So I switch back to the window where my portal user admin is. I check users and I check the permissions of this particular user. So roles demo partner admin. This is the user that I'm currently using. You can see that this role, this user has all of the big roles assigned. And if I went to the self-provisioning portal, and I went to customers, here I can see AdventureWorks. There are 2 customers available. And I select AdventureWorks, I press on the gear button, and I select access control. You can see that there are no current portal users that have roles assigned to this specific customer. If I click on add button, I get there's a new model window that pops up. I can select a role. So I will choose customer consultant for this demo, and I will click on assign access to. So after I click on assign access to, I can see listed all partners that have self-provisioning, some self-provisioning role assigned to them. So I will choose roles demo user that I'm using in my other window, and I will click save. So you can see that this user has been added to the list. And if I switch to my other browser, or other window where I'm using roles demo user, and if I went to customers list, now I can see AdventureWorks listed in this window. Yeah, if I went to customer installations, you can see that this user, this customer has 1 installation. I do not see the installation that is assigned to the Contoso customer, and I can perform some actions with this specific installation. For example, I can change customer user permissions, but I cannot change the license that is used for this installation. So if I select change license, I don't. Yeah, and one more thing. This user, since it does not have permissions to read the licenses list, it will not be able to see licenses in this window. But if I chose to request backup, this user is not allowed to request backup for installations, because customer consultant is not allowed to do that. But if you chose customer manager, that user would be able to request backups. But if I went to customer users and decided that I want to disable Michael Jr. user, I click on enabled, press confirm. You can see that this action has been scheduled. So that's basically it about the roles. If you want to find out more about these roles, you can navigate to the dashboard and go to notifications tile and select more. There's a notification called new features have been released that was released on August 19. If you click on this notification, you will see the description for all these roles. Yeah, so if you want to find out more, you can read more about these roles here. But also, if you have any specific questions, you can contact our support team and we will be happy to help you. Also, one more thing, if you have any suggestions how we can improve these roles, you could go to dashboard, and there's a section, a tile called most popular feature requests. You can suggest your ideas here, or you can vote for ideas in this list. Yeah, so let us switch back to the presentation. Okay, so just a couple of finishing notes. So all the users that previously had access to the self-provisioning portal, they have been assigned the admin role, so they can perform all actions. So if you want to change the access policy for your portal users, for your colleagues, you should go to the portal users section, as I've shown with my portal user administrator. And with this user, you will be able to assign different roles to your portal users. Yeah, so that's basically it. And if you have any questions, please write them in the chat, and I will give the word back to my colleagues.
Thank you, Algirdas. Very informative, I would say, and hopefully very useful feature for the partners. I've heard personally multiple times that they needed this functionality. Good, so let's move on and let's discuss what's in the lab. So first of all, this is the, let's say, #1 feature request on the portal at this moment, is providing more monitoring data or information about the, let's say, the health of the environments and things like that. So yeah, we are finishing first iterations basically of this, let's say, feature. And very shortly you will see some information about the health of your databases on the portal. Please keep let's say, your eye on the notifications tile in the dashboard, or if you have subscribed to the notifications, then you should receive the information to your mailbox. Yeah, we are still thinking how to make the AL development environment setup easier for you, so that it doesn't take that much time to start AL development. As always, we are thinking about the security improvements, and we are doing the security improvements. I would say even the roles feature is partially the security improvement, right? Because now you can improve the security, let's say, from your side on the 1ClickFactory self-provisioning portal. And also, yeah, we are working on the help center improvements. As you can see, we are trying to do what the partners want. So if you have any ideas, don't forget to suggest them on the dashboard, on the feature request tile, and also don't forget to vote for the ideas, because without votes, yeah, those ideas are just, just text, I would say. Good, and then let's move on to the FAQ. Yeah, and the first one is also related to security, I would say. So yeah, this is coming pretty often during the pandemic times. So an internal error occurred when you are trying to connect to your VMs via RDP. What do you do? So first of all, the cause of it is because most probably your virtual machine is being scanned or even brute force attacked from public internet. And yeah, what you should do is to set the IP filter for RDP port. Actually, you should do that even if your machine is not attacked. But yeah, if you see that error, the first remedy is to set the IP filter for RDP port. Then all the issues go away, I would say. Yeah. What kind of permissions are needed to set up Azure AD or Office 365 authentication, as we call it. So yeah, global admin is the best account, I would say. With all the others, we might run into issues when we are setting up the Azure AD authentication for your NAV or Business Central solution. This account is only used during the provisioning process, right? So we are using that account only when the provisioning is done. Once it is done, we are removing all the traces of that information from our systems, and that information, I would say, is safe. Yeah, and once the installation is ready, we don't need that account. You can change it to you, or the customer can change it to remove the account. Doesn't matter. Once the setup is done, yeah, we don't need that account anymore. So yeah, but global admin, I would say, is the best role of the user. And with global admins, we don't have any issues usually. Adding DLLs to the Windows client, or the Click Once package, as we call it. So yeah, I'm receiving this question multiple times, but just a reminder. So yeah, first of all, if you can distribute the DLLs from the server, you should do that. So as you know, from I believe NAV 2015, you can just place the DLLs in the NST add-ins folder, and then the server takes care of distributing the DLLs. If your DLLs are very specific and cannot be distributed from the server, then we can modify Click Once package for you. To do that, you should upload the files to one of your servers and then send request to service@1ClickFactory.com, indicating where the files are and for which, of course, for which installation you need the Click Once package to be modified, and then we will modify the Click Once package with the DLL files that you have placed. Yeah, another question that we are getting more and more often as the customer base grows. I believe, yeah, we see more and more of the migrations between the partners. So yeah, is it possible to migrate customer from one partner to another? Well, actually, yes, but there are two options. So the easier option, well, easier, I don't know if it's maybe not easier. Yeah, so maybe the simpler option is to just do backup transfer. So the old partner takes the database backup and provides it to the new partner. Of course, you should plan some downtime because the new partner has to provision the new solution, right? But on the other side, you don't need any help from 1ClickFactory. You can do that yourselves. One reminder is that the old partner has to remove the users before the new partner can add the same users, because we are not allowing to have the same user accounts between multiple partners, right? So the old partner should remove the users before the new partner can add them. And also, if the old partner removes the installation within 1 week, you can send a request to service@1clickfactory.com, and yeah, we would be making a billing exception, and you would avoid double invoicing for the customer installation. There is another option of migration. It has some limitations. For example, let's say the installation has to be alone on the server. So it can be a private shared or a dedicated server or even a sandbox, but it has to be alone on that server. It cannot be mixed with let's say other customer installation. Yeah, so if the installation is alone, it is possible to transfer the whole servers to the new partner, and yeah, the whole installation basically to the new partner. There's an additional fee for that. Almost no downtime. Actually, there is no downtime, but we just, to be safe, we want to restart the servers to make sure that everything starts up correctly after the migration. Therefore, we are asking for something like 30 minutes downtime or time frame when we can do the migration. The partner, of course, does not need to do any server reconfiguration. Small note is that customer share location will change. So if you have some EDI integration or something like that, you might need to change some URLs in the setup. URIs in the setup. And if you want to do this, just send a request to service@1ClickFactory.com. We'll investigate whether the migration is possible. And then, if it's possible, then we can do that for you. Good. Setting up VPN connection. We've got this question from day zero, I would say, when we started the servers. So on the self-provisioning platform, it is not possible. We can do private infrastructure configuration, but our recommendation is to first of all investigate why the VPN connection is actually needed. Very often we hear the reason is that we want to make sure that the connection between the server and the client is secure. So in general, we are using the security certificates to encrypt traffic between the client and the server, and it's basically the same security that you are getting with the VPN connection. So if it's just for the client-server connection, most probably VPN is not needed unless it's a very, very specific case. So first of all, we recommend to investigate the VPN connection need, why it is needed. Sometimes people are even saying that we will need remote desktop connection. That is why we need VPN connection. So yeah, those things have to be investigated. But yeah, if it's needed, then we can set up private infrastructure. Just send request to service@1ClickFactory.com, and then we'll discuss it with you and maybe prepare a quote for the private infrastructure. Good. So yeah, can we provide missing index information? Yes, definitely we can do that. And also, as I've mentioned, we are preparing some features for you on the portal to see those indexes without even having to ask our support team. But for the moment, you can just drop an email to service@1ClickFactory.com, and we'll try to provide the information as soon as possible. Okay, another question is whether we are rebuilding indexes automatically. So no, we are not doing that kind of maintenance on your databases. Also in the nearest future, we are planning to provide some information about that on the portal. It is partners' responsibility to decide whether it is needed and how often it is needed, and so on and so forth, because it can actually degrade the performance, not only increase it. If you decide that you want to do that, not an issue. We can set up a scheduled job for you. Just drop us a note. It's on service@1clickfactory.com, and the team will help you to set up some maintenance job to do index rebuilds or optimization if that is necessary. Yeah, and then that's it, I would say, with the FAQs. Now, regarding the infrastructure maintenance. So yeah, reminder that in 2 weeks, in 1.5 weeks, actually, we will be doing the infrastructure maintenance. And you can see the times in specific, let's say, data centers in specific Azure regions when we will be doing the maintenance for the owners of the individual data centers or private data centers. We have sent information individually when the maintenance will be done to the partners.
So with that, I'd like to thank you for participating in this webinar, and see you next month.